So you may be wondering why I've been alluding to a secret long video only to show up with something in line with most of my normal videos. Well, simply put, it's the middle of February as I'm writing this, and as I'm recording this, it's the end of May. I'm about 1/5 of the way through my big video, and it's already 74 pages long. So in an attempt to get something out, I decided to talk about some shows I've wanted to talk about for years. I'm not joking when I say I've wanted to talk about the adventures of Jimmy Neutron since I started my channel, and I've never done it. Primarily because I just couldn't find an episode I wanted to talk about. For a show that I grew up watching and has a variety of episodes with varying quality, I've always had a hard time formulating any words to describe the show. So instead, I decided to take a step back and just look at an episode that I always liked, The Tomorrow Boys. Before we start, let me introduce you to our 5 central characters for this video. Obviously, there's title character Jimmy Boy Genius Neutron, whose inventions often put him and his friends and family in danger until one of his other inventions comes back and saves the day, or other random info told to us early on in the episode. Jimmy Neutron can be formulaic, though they mask it far better than some other shows. We also have Jimmy's 2 friends. The first one, Carl Weezer, is the llama-obsessed fat nerd who also has a stalker crush on his best friend's mother. And we also have Sheen Estevez, the dumb comic relief obsessed with Ultralord, and is often seen having a crush on sometimes protagonist, sometimes antagonist Libby Fulfax. Libby isn't the main female semi-pro antagonist. That would go to Cindy Vortex, but this episode doesn't revolve around her like it does with Libby. And I described their personalities, but for the most part, Cindy was a gender-swapped version of a Jimmy, if you removed the inventor trait and made her far meaner. Libby, on the other hand, I remember mostly for being super into music and being the most level-headed member of the cast, though I was rarely invested in the female characters of the cast because the episodes involving them heavily for the first few seasons often left their marks with Jimmy and Cindy bickering until one of the girls left, leaving me to oftentimes tune out whatever was going on. With all that being said, this episode opens with Jimmy testing a serum that changes whoever uses it into a megalomaniac, or based off what we see later, an evil psycho, when his friends come in excited for Libby's birthday party.
We can't be late for Libby's birthday party. She asked Gray Star to play.
Yeah, and I need to stake out a chair near the punch bowl.
Jimmy then takes this time to show off his newest invention.
It's nice, Jimmy, but I think someone already invented the arch.
I thought it was an impressive arch, one that truly outmatches the Mesopotamians. Maybe not the Romans, though. Jimmy reveals that this arch is actually a portal through space and time, allowing the 3 boys to view their future. Sheen's a model. Carl is a llama breeder that probably used Jimmy's inventions in order to play God and screw around with his llama's genetics. And Jimmy won every Nobel Prize. He then reveals that they can actually go to the future with his invention, because the last 2 times he created a time machine worked out so well. And they plan on going to the future after dropping off Olivia's presents. However, Jimmy asks Carl to wrap his present, and while being assaulted by a flower, and it just now occurs to me that Jimmy likes making violent flowers, Carl ends up grabbing the wrong perfume bottle and swapping out Libby's actual present with a megalovania serum. After dropping off the presents, they return to the lab and jump into a different future than they were expecting. Almost immediately, they learn that Carl is a wanted criminal and RoboCop is enforcing mandatory viewing of all the Grey Extension shows of May 2020.
It's required viewing by all subjects of Retroville.
Wow, they called the deserved dystopia of the COVID year. Even if we didn't go into the year with a megalomania... I'm gonna stop talking now.
Along with Dance Airport, Dance Grocery Store, and Dance Dance Hall.
Dance Hall, it's my favorite.
That was a test. There is no Dance Dance Hall.
The cop reveals that Libby is a dictator, and she sentences the 3 to 100 years of hard labor, to which the boys flee the police. Jimmy watches the lab footage and realizes the mix-up Carl made, an easy fix as long as they can get back to the past, so they go to see the smartest guy in town.
Hello, Jimmy.
No, unfortunately. Instead, they go see the future Jimmy because he should still have the Chrono Arch. Future Jimmy tells them that he gave the arch to Future Sheen before his wife calls for him, and we reveal that he married Cindy. This causes Jimmy to panic and scream for 4 straight minutes.
I'm both impressed and disturbed.
At this, we learn what happened to Future Sheen, who is a bum that collects rotting food dumpster diving. He then tries to remember what he did with the arch, thinking that he lit it on fire and dumped it off a cliff. But luckily, he was wrong and did that to the fridge instead. He remembers this as a future fugitive Carl used the arch as a bed, though they have to repair the arch first, and as they finish their repairs and return to their own time, the cop bot bursts in and chases the kids into the past. Jimmy, Carl, and Sheen, now back in their past, hurries to Libby's party before the cop bot shows up to commit police brutality against a flower. The three boys reach the party and start searching the presents for the Megalomania serum, opening all of them until they get caught by Libby and thrown out, where they find the Copbot, who is only now authorized to use deadly force.
Oh, look, I am now authorized to use deadly force.
They barely escape thanks to the cop's favorite classic oldies band, and the boys sneak back in to destroy the other presents, and only after Cindy catches them, having destroyed all the other presents, Cindy reveals that she filed Jimmy's present under Z, for 0. Just in time for the Copbot to find them, and Jimmy uses the present as a throwable, that the cop destroys, rewriting the future and erasing the robot from existence, from then on. Sheen then ends up writing an apology that's over 38 chapters long over the course of 8 hours. And as someone that's been writing for over the course of the last 15 years, that's impressive.
Oh, right. Well, it's hard for me to think clearly after writing for 8 hours straight.
Libby accepts Sheen's apology and asks Sheen out on a date, after he cleans her house.
That voice is seriously attractive.
This episode's a lot of fun. I didn't nearly go into all the humor, but there's tons of small jokes in here that after 15 years have stayed funny. I'd say that these jokes have even for the most part gotten even funnier. It's the matter-of-fact way that the lines are delivered, almost as if there's no joke being told. Jimmy Neutron is and always will be a fun show, even if its animation is outdated being early CG. The visuals still hold up thanks to its stylized art style, though I can't say that the constant empty backgrounds help out very much. Thanks to the older hardware and what I'm sure was a not nearly enough budget, there were never too many background characters on screen at a time. Regardless, I would recommend you track down the series. It's on Paramount Plus, and for the most part, it is a great series. Even though it ended after 3 seasons and stars fade into the background of Nickelodeon's programming, most episodes are quality, with a few episodes that dip below the average mark. I'm gonna promise to not procrastinate too much on my big video. I want it out sometime this year, but as the project furthers, I'm realizing just how impossible that seems, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long for more content. I'll probably end up making smaller videos in the meantime while I work on this.